The shocking truth behind the New York Knicks firing head coach Tom Thibodeau has been revealed, as since the move has happened, multiple reports have come out regarding the New York Knicks and the decision-making process by multiple levels of this team, in which led to Tom Thibodeau losing his job as head coach of the Knicks despite being one of the most successful Knicks coaches in history. And we are going to break all of this down. A lot to go over, guys. What's up? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. Guys, if you're part of that 74% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, we are on that grind. Obviously, with Tom Thibodeau being fired, there's a ton of Knicks news right now, and before the NBA Finals ends, we are trying to get to 17,000 subscribers. So, let's try to get to that goal. You guys have been killing it with the subs recently. I appreciate it so much, but let's jump into the video. There's a lot to go over on this team, specifically in regards to Tom Thibodeau. As we know, now former New York Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau was fired by the team Tuesday, June 3rd. And this took a lot of fans by surprise. Now, there had been some chatter. I had done a video prior to this kind of saying that there was an 80% chance we were going to see Tom Thibodeau lose his job. Ian Begley kind of hinted at something being amiss here. And the truth is, it's because a lot of people did know this one was coming. Thibodeau was informed on June 2nd that he would no longer be coaching the New York Knicks, and in the process was offered a front office role with the team, one that he declined, as Tibbs was not really thrilled about losing his job with the New York Knicks and wanted to be the coach. He doesn't want to work in some vague front office role. He wants to coach, and there is a possibility that Tibbs continues to coach elsewhere. I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies potentially, but we'll see how that goes as time goes on. Right now, we're talking about the New York Knicks, which Tom Thibodeau is, for the first time in 5 years, no longer a part of as of today. So, just diving into this, there's been a lot going over surrounding Tibbs, surrounding the decision-making process, surrounding all who was involved in this process being made, as it came from multiple levels. It came from the Knicks players, owner James Dolan, and of course the front office and Leon Rose, William Wesley, and Brock Aller as well. Now, taking a look into things, there's been a lot to go over, and Chris Persianen mentioned that he heard in winter meetings in the winter, that sources close to the situation believed Thibodeau would not return without an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. A high bar, but one he met. That might have changed when the front office suggested a lineup change during the Celtics series. They gently suggested Mitchell Robinson, sources say. Discussions of a change were met with resistance, though. The change coming once the team was down 0-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals also came with reports that Josh Hart caused the change. But sources say the organization was looking for Thibodeau to break his streak of never having changed a starting lineup during the playoffs unless he was losing a series, that is. And the change wasn't made until he was, meaning once again what happened was the New York Knicks did not feel comfortable with Tom Thibodeau only making decisions when he felt like his back was against the wall, or only making changes, I should say, when his back was against the wall. One that was encouraged by Josh Hart, who said that they had to find a way for Mitchell Robinson to get more minutes. I mean, all the comments after make sense now. We see Josh Hart saying that. We see Mikal Bridges in the layup lines thing, of course. We see Deuce McBride saying a lot of stuff got exposed by us. And all of this added up, and clearly the players were not thrilled with how Tom Thibodeau was coaching them. The front office was not thrilled with how Tom Thibodeau was coaching. And owner James Dolan was not happy with the way that Tom Thibodeau was coaching the team. So things got very messy very quickly. So as we all know, a big part of this is the fact that Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau are friends. So this made things difficult. From what I've heard, Leon Rose was the one who had the least concern with Thibodeau as a coach. Rose, there was reports that that Tibbs had the backings of Brunson and Leon Rose. That seems a lot less likely now. But there are a lot of reports that Leon Rose, out of the three-headed top figures in the front office, and Leon Rose being the boss, and then having William Wesley as his right-hand man, literally in this photo. And on top of that, Brock Aller, who's the salary cap manager. Two of the three not being Rose, so Aller and William Wesley, they both wanted Tom Thibodeau gone. Wesley had pushed for Tom Thibodeau to get fired back in 2022 when the Knicks were struggling and evidently missed the playoffs. However, Tibbs was able to keep his job because mainly Leon Rose. However, 3 years later, things have changed a lot. No longer are the days of the New York Knicks standing for sort of allowing Thibodeau to get away from things true, and now Tibbs has lost his job. He didn't make changes until he felt it was deemed super necessary. The Knicks front office suggested things, Tibbs was resistant about it, and effectively, the two sides, the marriage started to get a little bit off the rails, which did lead to the situation that we find ourselves in now. And on top of this, you look at what Chris Persianen said, and we also see that, as Ian Begley put it, the way the Knicks conducted their season-end review of the organization was different than normal, as top players on the roster were called into meetings that owner James Dolan was also present at. Eventually, those reviews led to the Knicks deciding to move on from Tom Thibodeau as the head coach. So on top of that, what we saw was the players not disagree that Tom Thibodeau should leave. The top players, meaning the starting lineup, came in, or the starting lineup that we know, Brunson, Hart, OG, Mikal, Towns, they were all asked, and across the board, it appears that they agreed Tom Thibodeau should not be the coach anymore. There's been reports of not knowing each other's roles or what exactly is going on and them feeling a lack of a comfortability with Tom Thibodeau as the head coach because Tibbs is very random. I mean, you look at everyone's role here. Jalen Brunson was just kind of left on an island to do whatever. Karl-Anthony Towns seemingly didn't know what position he was playing. Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby could not find any consistency at their roles. Josh Hart found little consistency. On top of that, you see a guy in Mitchell Robinson who got thrusted into the starting lineup partially because the front office wanted him to, and then went from his minutes being one way to seeing his minutes completely change where he's playing the first 11 minutes of a game, which makes absolutely no sense. Then, of course, Landry Shamet and DeLon Wright randomly show up into the lineup, and yeah, that worked, but it was a little too late to start doing that, and evidently it all added up. And what happened? The Knicks ended up getting eliminated. So you kind of consider everything that goes on, and you see the players, they kind of agreed that Thibodeau was losing them. I did mention it kind of felt like there was a world where Tibbs is losing the locker room if the Knicks can't get motivated, because that's the thing. Tibbs is a guy who's very good at motivation and holding accountability, and it felt like the Knicks weren't doing that, which kind of felt like Tibbs is losing control of his locker room. And what did we see? We saw a team full of talent make it to the conference finals, and Tom Thibodeau didn't coach terribly, but he didn't outcoach JB Bickerstaff the way he did in years prior against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were better than the Detroit Pistons team that the Knicks faced. On top of that, we saw Thibodeau not exactly outcoach Joe Mazzulla the whole time, and we saw him get completely outcoached by Rick Carlisle. So the Knicks evidently decided it's time to end the Tom Thibodeau experience. It's time to find a new head coach for this team. That honestly makes sense to me. I mean, you look at just what went down with these lineups. The most used lineup the Knicks used was 335 minutes, and second was 65 minutes. Tibbs ran the roster of Brunson, Hart, OG, Mikal, and Towns into the ground, and it didn't work. They had a net rating of negative 6.2. The next used lineups were, one was a little bit better, having Mitchell Robinson come in over Josh Hart, but it was only used for 6 games because of the Knicks benching Josh Hart. And then the lineup of OG, Hart, Bridges, Brunson, and Robinson was also negative. So the 3 most used lineups were all net negatives. It makes it understandable that you should have an issue with the way Tibbs is working the subs, because what he was doing was evidently not working at all. And you see the first quarter of things, you see that when you put in Deuce McBride, there was more success, but Deuce never got into that starting rotation. Even when they had the Brunson, Mikal, OG, Towns, Robinson lineup, they had a positive net rating. However, the starting lineup they used for the majority of the playoffs had a negative net rating. So what we saw here was a team use a lineup that did not fit together while other lineups did to start the game, and he instead started with the team that couldn't get things done. And it was just absolutely complete misfire on Tom Thibodeau's part, which led to him being fired. So that's where it's at right now. And as Ian Begley mentioned, Leon Rose did love Tom Thibodeau as a friend. The front office had great respect for Thibodeau, but that unyielding, unwavering support wasn't there now as it had previously been. Obviously, you see that today. It tells you a lot about the nature of this business. And as Shams Charania put it, they believed thoroughly that this year they had a team ready to win a championship. They were disappointed when they lost in the conference finals and had a lot to do with the firing of Tom Thibodeau. So as Shams put it, it was not just some of these mistakes. And the friendship there could only survive so much. When the Knicks saw this as a championship team, but Tibbs didn't use any of the bench that was put together. You could say it's not a great bench or whatever. Tibbs didn't use it until way too late. And now, because of that, because Tom Thibodeau did what Tom Thibodeau's done in the past, he's out of a job. And honestly, it makes sense. You consider everything. You consider James Dolan getting involved again. It was clear that Tom Thibodeau was the problem. The players seemingly indicated the same thing. So I don't think that this is some situation where people should be upset that Tibbs got fired. If the players wanted him gone, it means Tibbs lost control of the locker room. You're not winning like that. And we didn't see the Knicks win. We saw them have a disappointing exit in the conference finals. A series they could have and should have won, but they didn't, and that you blame on Tibbs. Yeah, the Knicks got unlucky with the end of that game one, but still, they blew a 14-point lead in 3 minutes. That is, or 2 minutes. That's unbelievable. It's a fireable offense, and all the changes that Tibbs was asked to make and all the resistance he gave, it makes sense why the New York Knicks decided to fire him. Now, very quickly, on top of all of this, we do have some other news that is a bit lighter because obviously there's a lot of interesting topics. I love talking about this stuff right now, but on top of that, on more lighter news that doesn't really have a huge impact on anything, but it's just fun for fans to see. The Knicks jerseys, or well, the shorts for their jerseys have been leaked for next season for the alternates, as it was revealed that these will be their 2 new jerseys based off the shorts. One will have that old 90s style that we've been waiting for, so that is awesome news. And the Knicks will also go back to a black alternate jersey that's similar to their City Never Sleeps jersey from the 2021-22 season, where they had the orange and blue on the side and the black on the front and back. So the Knicks getting 2 new jerseys, which is also sort of exciting, but obviously just figured that was a little point to add in. The white will be the City jersey, and the black will be the alternate. So there you go. Some non-Thibodeau news as well. Guys, what do you think about all this? Mainly the Tibbs stuff, but also if you have an opinion on the jerseys, let me know. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. The next video coming out is going to be going over a bunch of the guys who are confirmed to be the potential next head coaches, and there is not a name that everybody is expecting, so it's going to get interesting. I'll catch you guys later. Have a great day, and go Knicks.